Yo, what's going on? It's your main man, Rick the Dawn. Hey, yo, welcome to my show. This episode is brought to you by Blue Space and the Really Hood Podcast. Check it out. So, who is currently the most dangerous player in the game? And I really want to dive into the game of Survivor from a different perspective. Not looking at this game as a game of reality TV. I mean, we know it's television, we know it's script, we know it's not, it doesn't have long-standing consequences. We understand that, but let's look at the game for what it attempts to be, which is a game of survival. If you're on an island with the remaining non-players, because we know Brandon got voted out. If you're on a island with the remaining non-players, who is the most dangerous? Who are you afraid of? Right? That's the question I really want to tap into for this episode. And I'm not going to get too creative here. In my episode 0 reaction or episode 1 reaction, I forget which one it was or is. But in my episode, I'll go with episode 1. In my episode 1 reaction, I picked 2 players to win this game. And if you didn't watch it, I don't know why you didn't watch it, but go check it out. I'll start with number 2. Number 2, I picked Heidi to win the game, and I'm so happy to say that as of this moment, both of my picks are still in the game. So that makes me feel like I know what I'm talking about. It just makes me feel that way. So anyway, Heidi is my pick, my second place pick to win this game, and she is making me feel very happy about that pick because she's a chameleon. She can adapt. She's adaptable. She has adaptability. She's smart. She has a very, very rare skill to be in the forefront, but also be in the background. Sometimes I'm watching Heidi and I don't know what she's doing. Like, I don't know if she's in the front leading the charge or if she's in the back taking like cues. She's doing both, which is what makes Heidi so dangerous. And I knew when I saw Heidi, that is exactly the type of player she would be. So Heidi would scare the crap out of me if I'm playing a game of actual survival where when your torch is snuffed, game over, life over, right? So Heidi was scary because she's very, very strong, very intelligent, and she has this aura about her that just makes me nervous if I'm in the game of Survivor. She's not somebody who's going to be pushed around. She's going to always follow her heart and her mind before she follows your persuasion. And that is what makes Heidi so dangerous. All right. Number 1, my number 1 pick from episode 1. Go watch it. Just in case you think I'm lying. Go to my episode 1 reaction. All right. And number 1 for me is Carson. And I cannot believe this. For whatever reason, Carson appears to be an underdog. I cannot believe. Oh, man. Give me a minute. Carson is a underdog. Like when you watch this episode 8, he's sick, he's puking. Nobody is looking at Carson. I'm talking about like who? Nobody is looking at Carson. I'm just like, have y'all ever seen the game of Survivor before? We keep hearing about super fans, and I've been a fan of this and that. Jeff, I'm a big fan. Carson is the ideal Survivor winner. If you've ever watched any season of Survivor, just look at Carson, and he looks like 40% of the winners who've played this game. I was able to look at Carson and say that guy is going to win this game, just sight unseen. I looked at him one time and I figured it out. So those are the 2 players that I would deem to be the most dangerous, Heidi and Carson, by default. I do feel like there are other players that are dangerous, but I just want to be fair to my own game and my own picks. I don't like people who pick and then switch. I hate that. So for me, I'm going to go Heidi and Carson because I'm riding with them until the wheels fall off. Why Carson? Carson is brilliant. He's a NASA guy. All right. He creates his own survivor puzzles so that he can practice. That just means he's smart. He understands that there's a challenge that will await me or that awaits me, and that I need to be prepared for those challenges, because far too often people know what's coming. They know what challenges lie ahead, yet they don't prepare for them. And Carson is the exact opposite. He knew there will be a tree puzzle, this puzzle, that puzzle. So he created micro versions of these puzzles to master them. That is what we call intelligent, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, so intelligent that I'm not even sure I would do something like that. I would be too lazy. So those are the two dangerous or most dangerous players in the game for me. Who is it for you? I'm curious. If you made it to this point in the video, first off, thank you. And secondly, share who you talk who scares you in this game. And we're looking at this game from a realistic standpoint, not necessarily are you going to go to tribal council, Jeff's going to say blah blah blah, and then 5 minutes later you can go eat and sleep in a real bed. No, we're talking about real life. If you're in an actual game of survival, who scares you? Okay, that's my question for you. Now, outside of my two picks, Carolyn scares me, but I'm not sure she would scare me if I was in the game. I would look at some of her eccentric behaviors and say, yeah, she's not a threat. But from a viewer standpoint, like us at home, we can hear her insight. She terrifies me because on the physical spectrum or physical side of things, she looks completely discombobulated, definitely disoriented. However, when you listen to her strategy and you listen to her talk, you clearly see that she's incredibly brilliant, and that scares me. Franny, in her incredible athleticism, did you not see what just happened in episode 8? Franny is the biggest threat in the game, yet the minute that Franny's name came up on the chopping block, everyone folded their own games, Danny included, and did whatever it took to protect her. So what that means to me is that she's not only athletic, she has the gift of charm. For whatever reason, Danny saw her game for just a glimmer of time. Danny saw Franny's game to be more important than his own. Franny is a competitor. Can we agree on that? Franny is intelligent. Can we agree on that? Franny is an athletic marvel. Can we agree on that? Or just she's athletic in general. Can we agree on that? Franny is likable. Can we agree on that? So that's 4 points we agree on. And guess what happened? Danny jumped on a grenade to save Franny. This is the same Danny who wants to get rid of a lesser threat, Lauren. He wants to get rid of Lauren because why does he want to get rid of Lauren? I have no idea. So the point is, he's focused on Lauren because I guess she's a threat. Yet he would jump on a bomb for Franny, which tells me right now that Danny is an idiot. Idiot. Okay? Listen, Franny would have been on the first thing smoking if I had anything to do with it. Okay? Now, the good news for Danny and company, despite Franny not going home, at least Brandon went home because he's also a super threat. I would also be very, 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 very cautious of Yam Yam. Too clever, too many jokes. Anytime I'm around somebody who's always smiling and laughing, I always get the sense that they're smarter than most of the people in the gathering, and also that they're the puppet master or manipulating people with their humor and their emotional abilities to you know where I'm going with this because that's exactly what Yam Yam does. He smiles in your face. He'll tell you the truth right in front of your face. How many times has Yam Yam did that this season where he'll tell people exactly what he wants to do? Like, hey, yeah, I'm going to vote you out. I don't like any of you. And he'll laugh, and then they'll laugh too. That's dangerous. I mean, I'm very curious to know what you think. Anyway, watching this episode, it became very apparent that Tika realizes that they're in the middle, and they're in the middle of two warring factions. And that was very interesting. Okay, if you don't know, Tika consists of Yam Yam, Carolyn, and Carson. However, both Soka and Ratu having the majority, they were battling each other, and as such, that pretty much left Tika in the middle. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was in the game, I would have, if I'm Ratu or Soka, I would have said, hey Ratu, or hey Soka, before we gun each other out, before we focus on a battle between each other, let's get rid of these three players in the Tika tribe. Why let's do that versus making ourselves, bait and fodder for each other. Let's get rid of these three Tika players. That guarantees us at least 3 more weeks. That's where and never came up. Nobody ever spoke about it. No one said anything about that plan or that kind of plan. Hey, wait a minute. we can battle each other and take each other out, which would leave Tika with the advantage because they have 3 players, which is no small number, and that would help their game. How about we help each other's game? We don't have to be friends. We don't have to be alliance members or in an alliance. However, we can at least save each other 3 more rounds by just focusing on Tika players. I have no idea why that was not ever mentioned, not even one time. That's one of those hindsight things. You look back and you say, you know what? That would have been a good idea. Next, we had the immunity challenge. Very, very difficult challenge. Has had different legs, and I really liked it. First off, how hilarious was it to see Carolyn? And I'm sorry, I know people might be a little sensitive about this point, but for me, I don't care. It was hilarious for me. All right, and I'm not saying I was laughing out loud, but I'm just watching, like, just shaking my head. Carolyn being stuck in the net. Like, come on. That wasn't funny to you? It was definitely funny to me. But anyway, this challenge is pretty cool. It was a paired competition, and it was also a staged competition where every stage someone went to the sideline. And the last 4 players was Danny, Lauren, Brandon, and Kane. Pretty awesome. And then Lauren, of all people, was able to win. And I'm so happy for Lauren. I think she's somebody who is very underestimated. She's someone who is often disrespected. But I think this challenge showed that she is a viable threat. There's a reason why Lauren is still in the game. And I don't know what that reason is. I'll be honest with you. But if I had to guess, it's just because she's underestimated. And that seems to be the theme for this season. I can almost guarantee a woman is going to win this season because women are often underestimated. I never underestimate women because I know what the power they possess. I was raised by a very powerful woman, so I had first class seats to the power of a woman. So something tells me that a woman's going to win this season, and it's because they're very underestimated. And we saw that with the battle between Danny and Lauren. Lauren kicked his butt, and Danny feeling entitled just because he's a man, no other reason. Danny feeling entitled is still gunning for Lauren. Still doesn't think she's really a viable threat. Just pretty much wants to get her out for the sake of getting her out. But that same naivety got Danny second place, right? But anyway, Ratu focuses on Franny. This was a terrible moment in this episode for me. I was very, very irritated just watching this entire thing play out because the entire time Ratu is telling the entire camp their plans to get Franny out. It's like, have you not seen at least one season of Survivor? How naive can you be, right? You really think after 44 seasons, you think that the plan that you have is the plan that is going to be the dominant plan. Really, Ratu? You think by, hey, we're going to get Franny out, everybody's going to go along with that plan. You really think that? They didn't even think to throw people off. Like, let's say Franny would actually mean this person, or let's put our votes on 2 people, Franny and insert player here. None of that came into play, and that was mainly because of the cockiness of Ratu. Crazy. Anyway, Heidi is the one who coordinates a plan to blindside Brandon, and of course Danny kind of jumps in and in a lot of ways tries to take credit for this decision, but it was really Heidi, in my personal opinion, of course, who orchestrated the hit on Brandon. And may I just point out, Heidi is a really, really good player. Now, she did an amazing job with staying under the radar in the early parts of the game, but now you're starting to see what I saw the very first second I saw Heidi. I'm like, this woman right here is very powerful. She probably has about, I don't know for sure, but she probably has about 2 sons that's also very well, very powerful people just in their environments. Because let me tell you, Heidi, whether she wins this game or not, she's a strong woman. I know a strong woman when I see one. All right, and that's not me trying to cater to my women my women audience or nothing like that. No, I'm serious. Heidi is impressive. Like, Heidi is the kind of woman that a man will look at and say, yeah, I like her. And that's how I feel when I look at Heidi. I'm like, Heidi, she commands respect. I love women like Heidi. Uh, but yeah, that's who she is. Anyway, we jump and fast forward to tribal council, and Danny plays the idol for Franny, which happens to be a great plan. I didn't count for sure, but it looked as if at least 6 votes were cast on Franny. That's what it looked like from an optical standpoint. And I remember thinking to myself, why did they not split the votes? I'm not even sure it would have mattered. It just would have looked better optically. All right. Because if you split the votes, it probably doesn't negate the fact that Brandon gets at least 4 votes. So I don't even know if it matters if they split the vote, but it just would have looked better. It would have looked as if they were more prepared for something that was inevitably going to happen. All right. But anyway, Brandon gets voted out, blindsided like a bat. And I really like the game that Brandon was playing, but I think that he fell victim to something that a lot of players fall victim to, and that is comfort. If you're in the game of Survivor or any situation in which cause you to enact a way, to participate in a way to survive, anytime you're comfortable, then you're playing the game wrong. In the game of survival or Survivor in general, you cannot ever be comfortable. And I think that this is something, or this episode is an episode which should prepare future players for this game. And that is at any point in this game of Survivor, if you feel as if you're protected or comfortable, you are going to lose this game. And Brandon is the latest casualty of that fact. You cannot be comfortable. And this is also, as my final point, this is something I live my life based off of. Never being comfortable, never saying I've done enough, never saying I did it, I've done it. No, every day I'm working hard as if I'm working from the bottom floor up. I don't ever want to be comfortable, because even though being comfortable in the real world, it doesn't necessarily lead to extinction. I do think that there are some qualities about being comfortable that I am not completely okay with, because when you're comfortable, you feel as if you don't have to work, right? You can lay in a bed, you can kind of sit at camp and dictate, or at least spew what you want people to do. But when you're uncomfortable, you play the game like a Heidi or a Danny, and you're constantly in the ears of people, constantly listening to people, constantly giving your opinion on who should go out, because you're not comfortable. You're not in a space of comfort like a yam, right? So anyway, I think that Brandon fell victim to feeling too comfortable, because at one point he was just giving orders, and he was telling everybody that his pick was Franny. And I was thinking to myself, hey, this game Survivor is predicated on a certain type of currency, and that currency is information. So if you're giving everybody free currency, free money, free information that you're going to vote for Franny, how do you not know that it's going to blow up in your face, right? It just doesn't make sense. That's like going to a poor area and just giving out free money, and then letting them know where you live. It's like, hey, they will appreciate the free money, but they're going to also be smart enough to realize that if we want more of this and we want control of this resource, we can just go to his estate or her estate and just take over, right? And I think Brandon missed that point. He just completely missed it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have, folks. I am slightly sad to see Brandon leave. I thought he was doing a good job, and he would have been the first athletic player to win the game in a long time. A lot of muscle-built men just don't win this game. If you look at the last maybe 4 or 5 winners, no, athletic build just doesn't win this game. So I was hoping that he might be the first one of in a long time, but it's kind of crazy. He had the physique, but he didn't have the strategy, and I'm not surprised. But anyway, thank you for watching, and stay safe out there. I'll see you next week. Peace.